everyone, this is Phoebe Wild from Cardboard Vault here at GenCon50, the last day of GenCon50, and I'm talking with Michael from Galacta, and he's going to tell us all about this war of mine.
Hello.
This was originally a video game, and so now the board game's just releasing, is that right?
Yes. Initially, this war of mine was a video game, still a video game. First video game that showed war from a really different perspective. It was really big, and right now we're lucky to have it in the board game version. The game is releasing in September. What we have here at GenCon were the first copies of the regular retail version here, so for people to test it, to grab a copy for them.
And so can you tell us a bit about the backstory of, you mentioned that it's about, war from the survivor's perspective rather than as a combatant. So can you tell us a bit about, the origin of the story in the video game and how that translates to the board game?
Okay, so the game is, as you've said, not from combatant's perspective. So it's, to be honest, it's a really depressing game. A very polarizing one, because it shows you the conflict, the war of somebody trying to survive, a group of people trying to survive in a besieged city, finding food for them, trying to, while they're scavenging, find useful materials that they can use to build different fittings in their shelter. And these characters that are in the video game and the board game are the same. There are some stories written in the game itself that are the same. These are the stories from the video game, but what's very strong aspect of the board game is the book of scripts is a book of almost 2,000 scripts. Like you may remember games like Choose Your Own Adventure, like Lone Wolf. It is quite similar, but in some way when the game tells you to read the paragraph, you read the paragraph with a story, and it puts you in a decision whether you want to do something A or B. Let's put it this thematic-less way, but it's more thematic. But it is not a joyful wartime game. You may know war like from the video games, like Battlefield, Medal of Honor, great games, but it's not joyful killing. It's showing you how depressing it is, how hard it is, and gives you different perspective on conflict like that.
And what was the inspiration behind turning it into a board game?
So one of the authors of the game, Jakub Wiśniewski, had this idea of the game. He partnered up with Michal Oracz in Polish, Michael Oracz, as you may know him, the author of Hiroshima Hex, Theseus, just to mention a few of his designs. So they partnered up together to create this game, because Michael was an experienced designer, and Jacob has this idea how to put this into the game and how to create the story, and he had contacts in video game industry, so he could acquire the license for the game. And we were lucky enough to partner up with them to prepare the game, to work on it. And also there's another company, Awaken Realms, that did a Kickstarter with guys and worked very hard to make the game real, and we were happy to be part of the team that's behind the project.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the game plays and what players will be doing and how it plays out?
No, for sure. So the game is oriented between two main phases, day phase and night phase. Let's put it this way. The whole round of the game is a whole day. In the first part, during the daytime, let's put it this way, you work out in your shelter. You clean your shelter from debris, you open locked doors, you build fittings. You may build a bed for your characters to rest. You may build, cooker. You may prepare a meal, and this is day phase. The second main phase is the night phase, is scavenging phase, when you have to divide your group mostly between two tasks. One is scavenging, to go to find new stuff, to explore the city, while other part of the team stays in the shelter, protecting it from night raids that may happen, or resting, because characters in the game have characteristics like how tired they are because of everything they do. If they don't get enough sleep, they are more and more tired. They can be sick because the winter is coming, but not the one like the one in Westeros, but the real one. They can be hungry, so you have to feed them. You have to find food, prepare food. But there is no electricity, so you don't have fridge where you can store everything. Sickness, misery, and the fourth one, tired, misery, illness, and hunger. So yeah, so these are the four basic characteristics. And during scavenging phase, you go outside to different locations to see what's happening there. And this is also the part where you explore the story. You may, just to give you an example, you may end up in a basement of the cellar of a house, and you found some food. Yay, it's awesome. But next to this, those cans of food is a small note. Honey, this is for you and for our children. I don't know when I'm back with you, but please take it. So, and now you may be facing a decision whether you want to take this food because you want to survive or you want to leave it. And the game may ask you to write down your decision because, I keep telling the same example over and over, and I still get goosebumps when I say it because this is a good example of how the game works. And as I mentioned, the game may ask you to write down this decision, and later, it may happen, it may not, but you meet this guy who says that his family died because someone took the food that he prepared for his family. If it was you and your team who took it, your characters will be more depressed, and you will see how it is. Because the game is the goal. One of the goals of the game is to show that the war is not black and white. It's to show that at those difficult times, it's not that easy to see what's good and what is bad. So I may drifted from your little question, but just wanted to give you this idea how the game works.
Is there a victory condition in the game, or is it more about playing through the story and just seeing what happens?
Yes, there is. Partially, there is a victory condition to answer the question. However, because this is not a simple game, there is if you play the full campaign, as we call it, so you go through event deck and make everything that's happening, there is an ending condition. And let's say there is a condition that at least one of initial characters has to survive till the very end. So we won. However, at the very end of the game, you may be asked to read conclusions for different characters. So you may end up in a situation that there is a lady ex-lawyer and if she survives, one of her possible endings, is that she ended up in law firm and she's working day job, but she cannot sleep at night because of the horrors and nightmares that get back to her. Different example: somebody may survive the war, but you'll find out that the person hanged themselves 2 weeks after that because this experience was horrible for them. This is for the regular game. So there is a winning condition, there's an ending, but if it's a good ending, you have to tell it yourself. And there are also scenarios in the game that are shorter, and they also have their own victory conditions.
So do you play through multiple games with the story continuing throughout, or is it like a one-shot scenario?
The game is built like that. You can play the whole campaign, as we call it, one throughout multiple sessions, because you can stop the game, save it using save sheets, and continue from the moment when you stopped. But it is not a campaign game that once you play it, you know everything. The script mechanism is built in a way that you can be playing the game for the fourth, fifth time, and you will encounter new things that you've never encountered before. So, and also thanks to scenarios that are shorter and faster, you can give it a shot during single game session.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the overview of the game. Again, I'm Phoebe Wild at GenCon50, talking to Michael from Galacta, and that was This War of Mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Phoebe.